The foundation of strength. Important physical exercises for pregnant women. What if pregnancy wasn't just about surviving discomfort, but about thriving with strength, confidence, and calm? In this powerful 3-part journey, we're shattering the myth that moms should take it easy. Instead, you'll discover the most important physical exercises that keep your body strong, stable, and ready for birth, safely and effectively. Then, we dive into the hidden power of your breath. Science-backed breathing techniques that don't just reduce stress. They strengthen your diaphragm, boost oxygen, and train your body for labor like a pro. And finally, we bring it all together. How movement and breath unite to transform childbirth from something scary into something sacred, empowering, natural, and deeply personal. Whether you're pregnant now, planning for baby, or supporting someone who is, this video will change the way you see pregnancy forever. But before the video starts, write in the comments, from where you are watching this video, thank you. Pregnancy is one of the most transformative experiences in a woman's life, a sacred journey that reshapes not only her body, but also her mind and spirit. While often portrayed as a time of rest and fragility, modern science and holistic wellness practices affirm that pregnancy can also be a period of vitality, strength, and empowerment, especially when supported by mindful physical activity. Contrary to outdated beliefs that advised bed rest and inactivity, contemporary prenatal care encourages movement as a vital component of maternal and fetal health. Regular physical activity helps regulate blood pressure, improves circulation, reduces swelling, enhances sleep quality, and combats common discomforts such as back pain, constipation, and fatigue. When performed safely and consistently, physical exercise supports optimal fetal development, increases the likelihood of a smooth labor, and accelerates postpartum recovery. Among the many tools available to expectant mothers, important physical exercises for pregnant women stand out as essential allies in navigating this profound transition with grace, resilience, and confidence. The body undergoes significant physiological changes, from hormonal shifts that loosen ligaments to an expanding uterus that alters posture and center of gravity. The benefits of exercise during pregnancy extend far beyond aesthetics or weight management. Moreover, it plays a crucial role in stabilizing mood and reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression, conditions that affect up to 20% of pregnant individuals. However, not all forms of exercise are equally suitable during pregnancy. The buoyancy of water alleviates lower back pain and swelling in the legs, calming complaints in later stages of pregnancy. A brisk 30-minute walk 5 days a week can significantly improve stamina, reduce the risk of gestational diabetes, and promote healthy weight gain. Many women shy away from lifting weights during pregnancy, fearing harm to the baby or overexertion. Upper body exercises like seated rows and modified push-ups build endurance needed for carrying and feeding a newborn. Therefore, selecting appropriate activities is critical. The most effective prenatal exercises prioritize safety, joint stability, cardiovascular health, and muscular endurance, without placing undue stress on the body. Traditional abdominal crunches and sit-ups are generally discouraged after the first trimester due to the risk of recti, separation of the abdominal muscles caused by the growing uterus. Instead, functional core work emphasizes stabilization through exercises like standing planks, bird dogs, and dead bugs. Key areas to focus on include the core, pelvic floor, back, glutes, and arms. Performing 3 sets of 10 slow squeezes daily, combined with quick pulses, builds both endurance and reflexive control. One of the most recommended categories of physical activity during pregnancy is low-impact aerobic exercise. Weakness in this area can lead to urinary incontinence, organ prolapse, and prolonged recovery. Many women mistakenly engage their buttocks, thighs, or abdomen instead of isolating the pelvic floor, and exercises with a high risk of falling should be avoided. Overheating, dehydration, and breath holding during exertion are also dangerous. Poses like cat-cow child's pose and seated forward bends gently open the hips and release spinal compression. Additionally, lying flat on the back after the first trimester can compress the vena cava, major blood vessel, and reduce blood flow to the heart and uterus, so supine positions should be modified with a tilted surface or side-lying alternatives. For those new to fitness, starting with 10 to 15 minutes daily and gradually increasing duration is wise. Women who stay active often report feeling more in control, less anxious, and more prepared for labor. Activities such as walking, swimming, stationary cycling, and prenatal aerobics classes offer excellent cardiovascular conditioning while minimizing strain on the joints. Pregnancy is not the time to set personal records or achieve peak performance. Instead, it's about honoring the body's changing needs and cultivating a sustainable routine. They are about building resilience, physical, emotional, and spiritual, for the journey ahead. Walking, in particular, is accessible to nearly every pregnant person, requiring no special equipment and adaptable to any fitness level. Every squat strengthens the legs that will carry a newborn. In the second part of this journey, we delve into the art and science of breathing exercises, stools that do more than oxygenate the blood. They prepare the mind and body for the sacred rite of birth. Every walk nurtures the heart that will sustain 2 lives, and every mindful movement reminds the mother, "I am not broken. I am becoming." Swimming, on the other hand, provides near weightless resistance, allowing expectant mothers to move freely without pressure on their spine or pelvis. Strength training is another cornerstone of prenatal fitness. However, when guided properly, resistance exercises enhance muscle tone, support proper posture, and prepare the body for the physical demands of labor and motherhood. Modified squats, lunges, and pelvic tilts strengthen the lower body and improve hip mobility, essential for childbirth. Crucially, core engagement during pregnancy must be approached with care. Whether in a pool, studio, or park, these gatherings allow expectant mothers to bond, exchange stories, and feel less isolated. These movements activate the transverse at the deep corset-like muscle that supports the spine and internal organs without excessive The pelvic floor muscles support the bladder, uterus, and rectum, and endure immense pressure during pregnancy and delivery. Equally important is pelvic floor training. Kegel exercises, rhythmic contractions, and releases of the pelvic floor are widely prescribed, but they must be done correctly to be effective. As the body's center of gravity shifts forward with the growing belly, balance becomes more challenging. A simple cue is to imagine stopping the flow of urine midstream or lifting a marble with the vaginal muscles. Flexibility and balance also deserve attention. Prenatal yoga and stretching routines improve joint mobility, relieve tension, and foster mindfulness. High-impact sports, contact activities, balance-focused movements, such as standing on one leg with support, help maintain coordination and prevent falls. Despite these benefits, certain precautions must be observed. The talk test is a useful guideline. If a woman cannot speak comfortably while exercising, she may be pushing too hard. Listening to the body is paramount. Most healthcare providers recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week, spread across several days. Women who were active before pregnancy can usually continue their routines with modifications under medical supervision. Joining a prenatal fitness class creates a space of shared experience and encouragement. The psychological dimension of prenatal exercise is just as powerful as the physical. Movement fosters a deeper connection between mother and baby. Each step, stretch, or lift becomes an act of nutrinja, tangible expression of care. There's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing your body is strong, capable, and ready. Community also plays a role. The social support amplifies the mental health benefits of exercise, turning individual effort into collective strength. Ultimately, important physical exercises for pregnant women are not about maintaining pre-pregnancy appearance or achieving athletic goals. They are acts of preparation, self-respect, and love. As we transition into the next phase of our exploration, we turn inward, not just to the muscles and bones, but to the very rhythm of life, the breath, because while physical strength lays the foundation, it is the breath that bridges body and soul, movement and stillness, effort and surrender. The power of breath. Breathing exercises? If movement is the language of the body, then breath is its silent poetry, the unseen current that animates every cell, thought, and sensation. During pregnancy, this inner rhythm takes on new significance. Breathing is no longer just a passive function. It becomes a conscious practice, a bridge between the mother and her growing child, a tool for calm in moments of intensity, and a rehearsal for the ultimate act of letting go. Childbirth, breathing exercises, often overlooked in mainstream prenatal education, are among the most powerful yet underutilized resources available to expectant mothers. But when we bring awareness to the breath, we unlock a profound ability to influence our nervous system, energy levels, and emotional state. Conscious breathing offers an immediate, portable, and free method of restoring balance. Far more than a relaxation technique, they are dynamic practices that strengthen the diaphragm, improve oxygenation, and help prepare for childbirth mentally and emotionally. As she inhales slowly through the nose, she allows the abdomen to rise like a balloon, keeping the chest relatively still. Unlike shallow chest breathing, which engages the upper lungs and activates the sympathetic nervous system, diaphragmatic breathing uses the full capacity of the lungs and stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. The growing uterus pushes upward against the diaphragm, limiting its range of motion and contributing to shortness of breath, especially in the third trimester. At its core, breathing is autonomically, don't need to think about it to survive. This deep, rhythmic pattern signals safety to the brain, lowering heart rate and cortisol levels. One of the most well-known is Lamaze breathing, a method developed in the 1940s by French obstetrician Dr. Fernand Lamaze. It also prepares the respiratory system for the intense physical demands of labor, where efficient breathing conserves energy and prevents hyperventilation. This is especially vital during pregnancy, a time when hormonal fluctuations, physical discomfort, and anticipation can create waves of anxiety and fatigue. These include: the foundation of effective prenatal breathing lies in diaphragmatic breathing, also known as belly breathing. To practice, a woman sits or lies comfortably, one hand on her chest and the other on her belly. When practiced regularly, these patterns become automatic neural pathways forged through repetition that kick in instinctively during labor. Diaphragmatic breathing is central to this method, reinforcing the idea that birth is a natural, physiological process, not a medical emergency. On the exhale, she gently contracts the abdominal muscles, expelling air fully through the mouth or nose. Studies have shown that mindfulness during pregnancy reduces perceived stress, improves sleep, and even lowers the risk of preterm birth. Morning sickness, heartburn, and sudden panic attacks can all be eased with a few minutes of intentional breathing. Techniques such as box breathing or alternate nostril breathing cultivate present moment awareness and emotional regulation. Here, breathing is slower and deeper, integrated with total body relaxation. For pregnant women, strengthening the diaphragm is particularly important. Fetuses respond to the mother's breathing patterns in utero. In reality, proper diaphragmatic breathing increases oxygen saturation in the blood. This can be avoided by maintaining a slow, balanced rhythm and avoiding forced breath holds, unless under expert guidance. Just as physical conditioning requires consistency, so does breath training. Daily practice, even 5 to 10 minutes, builds familiarity and neural plasticity. Using props like cushions or birthing balls can enhance comfort and alignment. Prenatal breathwork taps into this ancient wisdom, transforming biological function into ritual. Each breath becomes an offering and affirmation of presence, patience, and power. When she breathes deeply and calmly, her parasympathetic activation sends soothing signals through the placenta, regulating the baby's heart rate and movements. Some women report that their babies become quieter or more rhythmic in response to breathwork, a silent dialogue of trust and harmony. The exercises begun months earlier, the walks, the squats, the Kegels, the breaths are no longer abstract preparations. In the third and final part, we examine how these practices culminate in one of life's most profound moments, the act of bringing a child into the world. We explore how strengthening the diaphragm, improving oxygen, and mastering breath not only support labor but transform it into an embodied, empowered experience, one where fear gives way to flow and effort surrenders to instinct. By consciously practicing deep breathing, women can counteract this restriction, improving lung expansion and oxygen delivery to both themselves and the fetus. Enhanced oxygenation supports fetal brain development, boosts maternal energy, and reduces the perception of fatigue. Beyond basic diaphragmatic breathing, several specialized techniques offer targeted benefits. Women are encouraged to integrate breathwork into daily routines. Upon waking, before bed, during commutes, or while nursing discomfort. Based on the principle of conditioned response, Lamaze teaches women to use specific breathing patterns during contractions to manage pain and maintain focus. Slow-paced breathing, a steady inhale-exhale cycle used during early labor to conserve energy. Patterned paced breathing, a faster, rhythmic sequence, combining short inhalations with longer exhalations, helping distract from peak contractions. Birthing breath, a gentle, open-mouthed panting or blowing at the end of labor to prevent premature pushing and support controlled delivery. While some critics argue that Lamaze has been oversimplified into mere hee-hee-hoo techniques, its true value lies in the mindfulness and discipline it cultivates. Another powerful approach is Bradley method breathing, which emphasizes complete relaxation and partner coach support. The goal is to enter a state of husband-coached childbirth, where the mother remains calm, focused, and in control throughout labor. Mindfulness-based breathing, drawn from meditation traditions, adds another layer. These practices help women observe sensations without reaction, a skill invaluable during labor, where fear and tension can amplify pain. But breathing exercises are not only for labor prep, they serve daily needs. A simple technique called coherent breathing, inhaling and exhaling at a rate of 5 breaths per minute, has been shown to optimize heart rate variability, a marker of resilience and emotional stability. Moreover, breath connects mother and baby in a unique way. Teaching breathing exercises should begin early in pregnancy. Apps, guided meditations, and prenatal classes can support this learning, but the most effective instruction comes from experiential practice. It's also important to address misconceptions. Some women worry that deep breathing might deprive the baby of oxygen or cause dizziness. Dizziness usually results from hyperventilation, breathing too rapidly, and exhaling too much carbon dioxide. Sitting upright with shoulders relaxed, spine elongated, and pelvis neutral creates optimal conditions for deep breathing. Posture plays a supporting role. Slouching compresses the diaphragm and restricts lung capacity. In cultural and spiritual contexts, breath has long been revered as prana or ruach, the vital life force. As we approach the final stage of this exploration, we arrive at the convergence of physical strength and breath, the threshold of childbirth. They are lived realities, woven into the fabric of the mother's being. The sacred threshold. How breathing and movement prepare for childbirth. Childbirth is not merely a medical event. It is a rite of passage, a physiological, psychological, and spiritual transformation. It demands everything from the mother: strength, surrender, endurance, and trust. And yet, with the right preparation, it can also be a moment of profound empowerment. The physical exercises and breathing techniques cultivated throughout pregnancy are not isolated practices. They converge in labor as an integrated toolkit for navigating intensity, managing pain, and facilitating a smoother birth. When we say that breathing exercises help prepare for childbirth, we mean something deeper than technique alone. We speak of a harmonized body-mind, system-trained, resilient, and ready to meet the unknown with courage and grace. This fear-tension-pain cycle can prolong labor and increase the need for medical assistance. The body knows how to birth, but modern environments, bright lights, monitoring, interventions can disrupt this innate wisdom. Labor is often described in terms of stages, but it is more accurately understood as a wave, a pulsating rhythm of contraction and release, effort and surrender. In contrast, slow, deep breaths maximize oxygen intake, buffer acidity, and maintain stamina. Rhythmic breathing creates a predictable pattern that the brain can latch onto, reducing the chaos of pain. It occupies the mind, preventing spirals of fear. Fear and tension trigger the release of adrenaline, which inhibits oxytocin, the hormone responsible for effective contractions. A woman who has engaged in important physical exercises for pregnant women arrives at labor with stronger muscles, better endurance, and greater body awareness. The exhale, in particular, is linked to the vagus nerve, which triggers a calming response. Long, slow exhalations signal safety, allowing the pelvic floor to soften and the cervix to dilate. Core stability protects the lower back during long labors. Pelvic floor strength enables controlled pushing and reduces the risk of tearing. And practicing breath-centered awareness, women can break this cycle and access the calm, focused state where birth unfolds most naturally. Pushing becomes less of an action and more of a reflex, of primal urge guided by breath and gravity. Controlled breathing reduces anxiety before surgery. Post-operative recovery is faster with strong core and pelvic floor muscles. Birth is unpredictable. Even the best-laid plans may shift. Yet a woman who has moved her body daily, breathed through discomfort. A birth partner who understands breathing cues can guide the mother through contractions. Educators who teach integrated prenatal programs combining movement, breath, and education equip women with holistic tools, not just fragmented tips. And visualized her power carries an inner certainty. I am capable. When a mother feels safe and supported, her body releases oxytocin freely. Midwives and doulas often observe that women who practice breathing and movement enter a labor trance, a meditative state where time slows, pain becomes manageable, and the body works efficiently. Efficient breathing ensures a steady supply of oxygen to both mother and baby, preventing fetal distress and maternal exhaustion. Through important physical exercises, women honor the strength of their body. Through breathing exercises, they nurture the depth of their spirit, and in that, every pregnant woman discovers a truth older than medicine. That within her, there is already everything she needs. Countries with high rates of unmedicated births such as the Netherlands or Iceland prioritize prenatal education, continuity of care, and non-interventionist approaches. The lessons: learn patience, resilience, presence are not left behind in the delivery room. They echo in midnight feedings, toddler tantrums, and quiet moments of awe. Herein lies the power of preparation. By strengthening the diaphragm, improving oxygenation. Consider the role of oxygenation. During contractions, the uterine muscles require significant energy. She has learned to listen to her body, her baby, her intuition. Shallow, rapid breathing common in anxiety leads to hypoxia and lactic acid buildup, increasing fatigue and pain perception. A woman who has practiced diaphragmatic breathing throughout pregnancy enters labor with a trained respiratory system, capable of sustaining prolonged effort without collapse. Breath also serves as an anchor during surges. In the absence of epidurals or medications, women rely on coping mechanisms to endure contractions. More importantly, it promotes relaxation between contractions, critical for recovery and progression. Physical conditioning complements this process. Strong glutes and legs support upright birthing. Positions squatting or standing which use gravity to assist descent and reduce pushing time. But perhaps the greatest gift of prenatal exercise and breathwork is confidence. She has felt her strength grow. She has calmed her nervous system with a single breath. This confidence transforms the birth environment. In this zone, the rational mind steps aside and instinct takes over. Even in cesarean births or high-risk situations, these practices remain valuable. And the psychological resilience built through consistent self-care fosters adaptability in the face of unexpected outcomes. Preparation extends beyond the individual. Partners, doulas, and healthcare providers play roles in reinforcing these practices. A doula may remind her to relax her jaw or soften her pelvic floor. Small adjustments with big impacts. Culturally, we are beginning to reclaim birth as a natural process rather than a pathology. Their models emphasize preparation, not to avoid pain, but to embrace it as part of transformation. In closing, the journey of pregnancy is one of becoming, and through the integration of both, they prepare not just for childbirth but for motherhood itself. To breathe deeply, to move with intention, to trust the process, these are the foundations of a life lived fully.